Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tyler Show. Sorry we missed you last week. Had a couple technical difficulties, but we are back. We're here to stay. There's a lot that's happened since our last show. And to join me in breaking it down, we have Matthew and we have Austin. Two lovely people. How y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great.
Fantastic. Glad to be back. Glad to see you gentlemen again. It's always a pleasure.
For sure. We're going to be talking some really good sports today. Obviously football. You know, it's not like there's, college basketball and, NBA. Well, is anybody watching the NBA? That's a real question.
Yeah,
but
I'm watching.
No.
You do watch the NBA?
Yeah, I watched the NBA.
No?
I saw Luca put up 73, and that was it. That's all I've seen this entire 2 weeks. I don't know what else has
Devin
happened.
Booker had 62 the same night.
Yeah,
He
same
did that.
night.
Oh, really?
And nobody was talking about it because Luka put up 73.
No, I just saw Luca did that, and I was like, okay, cool.
And
Go Mavericks.
And as football does wind down, we will be talking some more different sports. More on that soon. But first off, 2 weeks ago, coming up on 2 weeks ago, the championship weekend, we had two big games, right? And honestly, I thought both of them were kind of master choke jobs from the losing teams.
Yeah.
We can start with the Chiefs and the Ravens, right? 17-10. I think we both talked about this kind of being a defensive battle, right?
Right.
But Ravens, what's up? Why? I guess my biggest question from that game in particular is when you have the leading quarterback rusher, why is he only passing the ball? I guess that's my biggest question, right?
You have to dance with what got you there.
Right.
Lamar being Lamar is what got you there. Mm-hmm. You cannot go away from that, and Baltimore definitely went away from that, Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. Lamar Jackson didn't play a sharp game, and I feel like it went back to what I was talking about a couple weeks ago. The Steelers laid out a game plan of how to beat the Ravens. You just collapse the pocket, force him to make off-balance throws, and he's not going to make them. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to say Lamar Jackson is bad, but as a pure pocket passer, he still has a lot to improve on.
Right.
And I think they exposed that, and they copied that blueprint and did the exact same thing. They added spies in the box. They did not let him do his thing. And then also, let's just throw in this random fact. Baltimore only ran the ball with their running back 6 times in the game. Only 6 times. Okay, you have Gus Edwards, you have Justice Hill. Keaton Mitchell's out, I guess. So those are your two main guys.
Right.
And you also have Mark Andrews who came back, and you threw it to him twice. What? You didn't use the guys that you have, so that's the biggest problem I had with it. And I know the Chiefs defense schemed it to, kind of keep those guys limited, but you didn't even try to give them the ball. That's on the Ravens. That's a choke.
For sure.
Spagnuolo spooked them. And here's my thing. Even if you're not getting much yards per carry,
Right.
you still have to try. You still have to run, because then you can eat on the play action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eating on the play action is key.
Yeah.
And you got the guys on the outside with Zay Flowers, which we'll speak about him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham and Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. You can still eat on the play action if you run the ball enough. It's going to open up.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, you're talking about play action, right? Who's really good on play action? Lamar.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't give him that opportunity. I mean, like you said, two very good running backs. They were probably a couple plays away from a really big run.
Right.
Let's be really honest here.
Yeah.
And you don't even use them? I mean, I don't know. I felt like the offensive game plan was bad. The defensive game plan, it was okay. I mean, you still hold the Chiefs to 17, and I know they're kind of drop margins or whatever, but still, you hold them to 17. You're having a good day.
You hold the Kansas City Chiefs offense to 17 points. You are supposed to win.
Exactly.
No question. But again, we got to give the Chiefs credit too on defense.
Right.
Spagnuolo, one of the best to ever do it of all time as far as coaching up a great defense. I think I spoke about what he did against the New England Patriots in those 2 Super Bowls that the Giants won. That was a high-powered New England offense that was rolling.
For sure.
And he shut them down twice. Yeah. So we definitely got to give Kansas City some credit for that. But Baltimore did not help the situation.
Baltimore did everything wrong on offense. I feel like defensively they did fine.
Right.
17 points, fine. Like you should win, like we were saying. Zay Flowers kind of had a few key mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on. Okay, the fumble, like that was a great play by the defense.
Right.
I'll give him that. L'Jarius Sneed punched the ball out. That was a great play. But standing over him after you like make a catch, come on, just move on.
I know.
Like you made a great play. That's awesome. Good for you. Move on. Like you have the Chiefs defense on the ropes. You have them back on their heels. You have to capitalize on that. And they're like, nope, 15-yard penalty. You're going right back. And it's just stupid.
And the thing is, right, is that, you know, he is a rookie. So you have to take that into account that he's probably going to be a little more undisciplined. You know, he's going to make that fumble, even though, like you said, it was a great defensive play.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a Zay Flowers that's 2 or 3 years in maybe keeps that ball. You don't know. And like you said, you know, it's you know, it was just a good defensive play.
It was.
And you can say all these what ifs, but you know, we have to talk about what happened, right? But I don't know. And it's also hard to say because that receiving room is still not great.
No, I agree. 100%.
Odell is your number 2. I mean, you know, he just gets hurt a lot, and that's an issue. And behind that, what do you really have?
Also, what did Odell do all day? Nothing. So, just saying, he disappeared too.
All he did was tell his quarterback to run more, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
He did. I did see film of him saying, "Hey, let's get back to what we do."
Right.
And I think we've talked about it enough on here. When the deeper you get into the postseason, you have to be able to run the football and stop the run.
Yeah.
And again, Baltimore did not help the situation.
No.
When your running back's only carrying it 6 times, as Austin pointed out, that is a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, don't turn Lamar into a pocket passer, which is what they did.
Yeah, you get him on the move. He can make off-balance throws, but he can only do that when he's not under pressure.
Right.
When he's under pressure, he has a guy in his face, and he's like having to jump and like make all these wild acrobatic throws. He's not going to do it. Mahomes can do it. Josh Allen can do it. Maybe Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. I don't know. Maybe throw some other guys in there, I guess. But Lamar's not that guy. He's a fantastic overall quarterback, but he's not a great pocket passer, and that's just the facts. If he doesn't have a clean pocket, he doesn't succeed, and the Chiefs just exposed that, and they did a really great job game planning for it. And like I said, the Steelers laid it out there for him. I mean, the only team to sweep the Ravens this year was the Steelers, and what did they do successfully? They collapse the pocket and they play good secondary ball. Yeah. That's all they had to do.
And I mean, honestly, you know, you don't have to be even great in the secondary. I feel like you just have to be good enough. Just, you know, double up Zay Flowers. What else do they have?
Honestly, I'd say double up Mark Andrews more than Zay Flowers. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, but when
Mark Andrews is a beast.
When Mark Andrews was out.
Yeah.
When Mark Andrews was out.
Well, even then, their offense just gets easier to stop. Well, then again, Isaiah Likely's he's not a bad drop off, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is to this point, the interception that Lamar threw into the end zone.
Triple
Isaiah
coverage.
Likely was not open.
Yeah.
He was never open.
I don't know, his arm was up.
Yeah.
He called for it.
And Lamar didn't look anywhere else.
No, he didn't. He just stared him.
As a veteran, Lamar, you got to know what's going on with your pre-snap reads.
Right.
Absolutely.
You have to have an understanding. Okay, this is the game.
Yeah.
We're in a clutch moment. This guy may not be open. They know I love Isaiah Likely.
Right.
So I got to know and understand what's going on with the other guys. Do I have an option to go elsewhere?
Right.
Exactly.
In Kansas City, you can tell they knew he was not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 guys initially on Likely when that ball gets to the end zone.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's picked. So that's where, too, we go back to Spagnuolo and the Chiefs because they saw something on film.
Right.
They saw something on film that told them, hey, they get in this situation or they get into this area of the field. He's going to number 80.
Right.
We know Mark Andrews isn't there, but this guy's pretty good. This is where he's going.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's just kind of the issue is that I felt like Spagnuolo just out-coached that entire team, you know?
Spagnuolo's done it before, as we talked about.
Yep.
And I almost, you know, not to, you know, jump too far ahead, but he will be the key factor in how that Super Bowl plays out.
Yeah,
100%.
Because I mean, if you can stop Christian McCaffrey, if you can stop a Deebo Samuel, if you can stop Ayuk, I mean, I can just keep naming weapons, but it's going to be a long day for San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Purdy possesses the skills to turn a game around by himself.
Well, we're going to see.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
Because Purdy has done a good job of silencing the naysayers, too. So
True.
We got to give him some credit for that.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
We shall see.
Yeah, we will see. And now kind of going more towards the Niners, right? They beat the Lions in an epic comeback. And one that probably hurt a lot of us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you what, man. As a Niner hater, I am a hater.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, but I do respect them because they did not fold. What San Francisco showed was championship mettle.
For sure.
Detroit had them on the ropes and was getting ready to run away with it. But, the head coach for the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell, coaching with his ego.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Campbell, you got to stop ego coaching.
Yes.
It's some things that you got to reel in. And I say this as a Dan Campbell fan. I love Dan Campbell, and I love what he has done for Detroit, the entire city of Detroit. He has re-energized that city.
For sure.
He has brought them alive. He got them in the NFC Championship game. And you could argue they should have won.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to reel some things in. You got to take those points.
Right.
Yeah.
You cannot bypass points and then give San Francisco new life.
Agreed.
Because if you take those points, then you take the points and you still got momentum on your side.
Right.
But when you go for it on fourth down twice and you fail, that is swinging all of the momentum to that other sideline.
Right.
And it was over after that.
Right. And when you're up like that as well, just take it.
Yeah.
Just take those points. Take what your offense is giving you.
Yes.
Because once the second half started, I thought the defense did a phenomenal job for the Niners of kind of just changing their game plan and figuring it out. And that's what the Niners do.
Yeah.
They have good coaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, part of why they're so good. Obviously, they have superstars on both sides of the ball. But, I mean, that's just what they do. So you have to change along with it. And I just never thought they really did a great job till the end of changing their plan.
Agreed. And the defense of the Lions was bad in that second, straight up bad. Right. I know the Niners are a tough team to handle, but you handled them in the first half. There's not really any excuse. They're going to come out and make adjustments. This was a game that was determined by which coach made the better adjustments, and clearly it was the 49ers.
Oh, yeah.
And what I will say about Detroit, they came out swinging like I was thinking, they have nothing to lose. No matter what they do, no matter what the outcome of this year is going to be a success for them.
Yep.
That's why I was like, I wouldn't count them out because they're going to come out and they're going to play really, really good football for 30 minutes, apparently. Not the whole 60 minutes, but 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And they proved my point for a little bit, and then the Niners came storming right back and did what the Niners are supposed to do. They're supposed to just dominate everyone. I mean, their average margin of victory, I think it was like 19 points. Jeez, so they've been beating teams up, and they beat the Lions up in the second half. And obviously Dan Campbell, I love him too, but he failed. He failed, and it's sad because I was really rooting for the Lions. I love a lot of the guys that they have, but that was bad. They had no answers.
I think we were all rooting for Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think every
America
story...
lost. That's what happened.
I think every story, coming into that game on the Lions, right, was just, it was so much better in every, way, shape, and form. Right. Everybody wanted, Detroit to win. And now we have probably maybe the worst option of Super Bowls that we had out of the championship game, right? Because... And I saw somebody else say this as well, that we're having a repeat of 2020.
Yeah.
Just in general, we have a Trump Biden election, and now we have a Chiefs Niners Super Bowl. And you know what happened right after that Super Bowl? COVID-19. America, watch out, because this could get real quick.
It's gonna be an apocalypse.
Zombies?
Why not? Why not?
Our producer just yelled at us to stop. So, you know what? We won't curse it.
I tell you what, and again, I say this as a Niner hater, but a football fan. Mm-hmm. I am excited.
Yeah.
From a defensive standpoint.
Oh yeah.
Being an ex-linebacker, and even though I do not like the Niners have a lot of guys that I love.
Yes.
Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh
Beast.
yeah.
Nick Bosa, I love him too.
Nick Bosa,
Oh,
Eric
my God.
Armstead.
Travarius Ward,
Oh
he's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Tyler, now, even though he's out, Talanoa Hufanga has missed the majority of the season. I am a huge Talanoa Hufanga fan.
Right.
You know, but then you go to the Kansas City defensive side of the ball. You got big Chris Jones.
Yes.
Nick Bolden out of Frisco Lone Star up the road.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Rangers. Yeah, you got him on that side of the ball. Get L'Jarius Sneed.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say it.
Yeah, so I am excited for the defensive matchup, particularly the defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes, Steve Spagnuolo. What are they going to do as far as forcing the opposing offensive coordinators to adjust?
Yeah.
And can they adjust to those adjustments?
Right, and who can make the better adjustments as well?
Yes.
It's gonna be fun.
I can tell you, not Matt Nagy, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I can tell you.
Yeah, and I think part of that is looking back on that 17, right? Like, it got a little ugly in that second half, I thought.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's going to be interesting for sure.
It is, but particularly too with the Chiefs, you got to play assignment football.
Yeah.
Now, this goes for playing the 49ers too, because the 49ers, they have superstar talent everywhere, from Deebo Samuel to Christian McCaffrey to George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, who is really growing up as the number one receiver.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to play assignment football playing the 49ers. And one thing about Kyle Shanahan, and while Matt Nagy is the offensive coordinator, Andy Reid, these guys are great at window dressing.
Oh,
Agreed.
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of window dressing on both sides of the football. So both defenses, the Chiefs and the 49ers, you have to play assignment football.
Absolutely.
You have to stick to your guy. Do not fall asleep at the wheel. You know, when you're playing the Chiefs and you playing Mahomes and he starts moving around, you got to stick with your guy. Because he starts moving around, and what happens a lot of times, his guys start moving around. It's easy to lose track of that.
Yeah.
And with San Francisco, they just got so much talent at each position. And a lot of what I've seen at times with the Niners is that sometimes George Kittle may not come alive to the third or fourth quarter.
Right.
But he's patient.
Yeah.
And he's doing the other things, the run game. Did y'all see what he did to Aiden Hutchinson?
Oh, man.
It's wild.
It was so wild.
I mean, I rewind the TV like 3 or 4 times just to watch because he put Aiden Hutchinson in the dirt.
Oh, yeah. He made him look silly.
It was so silly, it was beautiful. Like, again, I had to go back and rewatch it. So George Kittle is doing stuff like that in the run game as well as in the pass game. At times, he'll pass block. And this is where, again, you got to be careful because there are times where Kittle, he's not supposed to be in the route concept.
Right.
He's pass blocking, and then when something breaks down, he's going to slide out into the flat, or he's going to slide up the seam, and
He's going to get you 10 yards at least.
sometimes 30 or 40.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, pay attention to the window dressing if you're the defensive coordinators and the defensive players for both teams.
Right.
Don't fall asleep at the wheel, because if you fall asleep at the wheel, then it's not going to end well for you.
Yeah. And I do think that the best part about this is how well coached these teams are. And I don't think one player is going to go out there and try to play some hero ball or something like that. And like you said, get off their assignment because they see a pick that maybe isn't there or something like that. I think that, like you said, this defensive matchup is just going to be so interesting. It's just going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I guess we can kind of get into our predictions a little bit. what do we think's going to happen here?
Whew. I say this as someone who I did not have the Chiefs getting this far at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And San Francisco, they have the better roster.
For sure.
They have more talent. No doubt about it.
But I mean, Kansas City has one of the best quarterbacks ever on the other side.
Dan Marino with legs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's Patrick Mahomes is Dan Marino with mobility. That's what I see in him.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, you pick first. I'm gonna let you go first. I don't know.
I'm gonna pick the 49ers. Part of this is I don't like the Chiefs at all. I cannot root for them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a lot of my bias getting in the way, but I have reasons. Okay.
Okay.
So,
all right. Let's hear them.
So as much as I love Spagnuolo is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is you can just go on a list of all the players that the 49ers have and you go, who are you going to focus in on?
Right.
Because what I feel like Spagnuolo does really well is the same kind of thing that Belichick does. You take away that one guy. But
Right.
who is that one guy on the Niners? You have Debo. You have Ayuk. You have Kittle. You have McCaffrey. And it's not like you have Jawan Jennings. He's not like a scrub.
Right.
He's good. Mm-hmm. And then Elijah Mitchell can also be a good change of pace back.
Right.
Like Kyle Juszczyk, all of a sudden, like he'll have a random like play where he goes off for 50 yards and it's like, you're a fullback. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And then Brock Purdy, he's honestly good. I don't care about this game manager BS. That
Right.
he is better than that.
Absolutely.
I agree.
So I just don't think that the Chiefs are gonna have. I think the Chiefs are a really good defense, but I just don't see them fully stopping them. And I believe in Shanahan's offense just that much. And as far as the Niners defense versus the Chiefs offense, I just look at their weapons and I say, cool, Travis Kelce, he'll have a good game because it's Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Every time I doubt him, he goes for 2 touchdowns. So I'm done doubting him. So, and then you have Rashee Rice, who's been pretty good. Don't get me wrong. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I don't care. He's not good. I'm gonna be honest. He's not good. There's no reason.
No.
Not Christian Watson. That one dude, white dude named Watson. I don't know his actual first name. He's
no.
third or fourth wide receiver.
There's like 5 of them in the league.
Yeah, and yet I still don't know who he is. I don't know what Justin Watson. That's it.
Okay.
I knew if I kept talking, I would think of it. But no.
They got Sky Moore too.
Oh yeah, Sky Moore.
Yeah, Sky
Oh,
Moore,
right.
too.
Okay,
Forgot about him.
He's back,
Right.
by the way.
right. But like, okay, the Niners defense should lock them down.
But the Ravens defense should have locked them down.
The Ravens defense should have done a lot of things,
That's
but when
right.
your offense puts you in bad positions, then well, guess what? You lose. So I have to go with my gut and my brain. My gut and my brain agree, so I got to go with the 49ers. I can't. I just can't pick the Chiefs. Like I didn't pick them to go this far, and I legitimately just it's voodoo magic. This is not like they should not. They're not a bad team by any means, and they're really good. They have the playoff experience. I'm not shocked that they got to the AFC Championship. I'm shocked they got to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm picking the 49ers because they're the favorites. They should be here, and they should win. This is their championship to lose. And I will get on the Niners hate train because they would tie the Steelers in Super Bowl wins, and that would make me mad. So I will get on that with y'all for just that one point. But I can't pick against them. I'm not picking against them.
Now, I think it is funny. I don't know if you saw this, but on Twitter, the Niners posted against all odds on them going to the Super Bowl. But they've been favored in all their games.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny, and I wanted to point that out. Now, since this is the Super Bowl, I'm going to have to ask you for a score as well.
Okay. Ooh. I'm going to go 27-23.
Okay.
I feel like all it's going to take is like 1 or 2 big plays by each offense, and then the game is going to completely change. I think the first half is going to be a defensive battle. Third quarter, I can see both teams making big plays on offense, scoring, and then the fourth quarter going back to just kind of a dogfight. I feel like both offenses are capable of at least scheming guys open for the third quarter. I think the first quarter, both offenses are going to be shut down.
For sure.
So I'm going with that.
I like San Francisco to win.
Yeah.
Going 49ers 34-31.
34-31.
I would love that.
I think it's
fun.
gonna be 34-31, and particularly both of these teams, as great as the defenses are, I look at the offensive line play from both sides.
Okay.
The Chiefs and the 49ers are outstanding up front in the offensive line. Both of them can run the football, as we have pointed out.
Yeah.
Both of them are not. Both of them will hit you in the mouth.
For sure.
So as great as these defenses are, I think it's going to be the offenses that shine.
Yeah.
But 49ers, 34-31, and I think they win it on the last second field goal. There's going to be drama.
I was thinking last second touchdown, if I'm being honest. I don't know who's going to score it. It might be a Christian McCaffrey pass to Deebo Samuel. Why not? It's Kyle Shanahan.
I think
Kyle Juszczyk. No, it's to Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah,
it
okay,
could
yeah,
be
you're right.
Juszczyk.
You're right.
See, I think what's going to happen is that San Francisco is going to get the ball. It's 31-31.
Okay.
And Kittle is going to.
Ooh, yeah.
That's going to be the one to come through. Kansas City, they're going to have a linebacker, someone matched up on Kittle. And Kittle's going to catch a big pass.
Yeah.
He's going to get loose for about 30 or 40 yards.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? It may be an out route or something.
Yeah.
It may be a 5-yard out that Kittle catches, breaks a tackle. He's going to run over a couple of guys because that's what George Kittle does. He's going to get them in the field goal range, and then they're going to hand the ball off a couple of times, run some clock. And San Francisco's going to win it at the buzzer, 34-31.
See, I have it kind of going the opposite. I have Kansas City winning 24-21.
Barf.
It's just, and I know. Here, it's just. I feel like Kansas City's just been defying the odds all year, and I think they got one more in them. I think the defenses are that good to where I think it could be a 24-21 game, and like you, I think it's going to be a last-second field goal by the Chiefs to bring them up. Yeah, I think they're going to have a kind of similar to the, what was it, Bills and the Chiefs game a couple years ago, the AFC Championship.
The 42-36 masterclass, that one?
Not like that, but in terms of how it ends, of how they're going to get the ball back. It's going to be 21-21.
Oh, when they went like 50 yards in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's going to do
stupid.
Travis Kelce's going to do something stupid. He's going to just run it down the field. It's going to be 1 second left and then last second field goal to win it. And we're all going to be like screaming on our couches, you know.
And then Taylor Swift gets her kiss on the 50-yard line from Travis Kelce. Whoop-de-doo. Hollywood ending.
I knew that
Great.
was coming.
As the fireworks go off, and she drops her new album, and
she did announce one, so yeah.
It's going to be. I just think they've had a fairy tale season, and I think they're going to end it that way. Travis Kelce's going to come alive. I think he's going to go for 106 and 2 touchdowns. Flaming hot takes. Write that down. 106 and 2 touchdowns.
And it's possible because the thing is, and we've talked about this with San Francisco, the weakness with San Francisco is on the back end of the defense.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, if you can get them guys matched up in coverage, you can win.
Right.
Now, if you get one of them matched up with Kelce one-on-one, like we talked about with Kittle winning, Kelsey's going to win that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, I'm going to stick with San Francisco, 34-31.
Yeah, I'm not picking the Chiefs.
I'm sticking with the Niners to win it. The Niners will tie Pittsburgh for championships, Super Bowls. I know you ain't trying to hear that, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Who you got as MVP?
Of the Super Bowl?
Of the Super Bowl.
They're going to. If the Chiefs win, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. That just is what it is. It's going to be hard to say if the Niners win because there's so many good players.
I'm saying Christian McCaffrey.
I was gonna
if
say
he's
that.
not going to get my regular season MVP, he better get Super Bowl MVP. I love him.
Yeah, because if they do win, it's going to be him going off.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about going off, but
I'm
he's going to
going
have a
Brock.
touchdown. Yes. Okay, I'm down for
I'm
that
going
too.
Brock Purdy.
I'm down for that too.
Brock Purdy, another one that has defied quite a few odds.
Yes.
Now, I know San Francisco's loaded, but every time the Niners have needed a play,
It's true.
he has stepped up.
Yes, it's true.
And he's not just done it with his arm. He's done it with his legs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He had a big run against Detroit. What was it, 30 or 40 yards where he got loose?
It was insane. And then there was like one where he like stiff armed a guy and like trucked him, and I was like, What?
I know, it's Brock
What?
Purdy.
Brock is a tough guy.
He is.
He is. So if San Francisco wins this, which I think they will, I got Brock Purdy winning Super Bowl MVP.
All right, and I mean, yeah, like we've been talking about, right? I think the game manager arguments are going to be out the window, just regardless, right? But the question is, I think, is if the Niners get down early, and maybe even big early, not that it's going to happen, but if they do, just does Brock Purdy have what it takes to bring it back?
We saw it last week or 2 weeks ago against the Lions.
That is true.
24-7 at halftime. They win 34-31. Call it whatever you want to on the Lions side. Was it a little stupid play calling on their part? Was it stupid decisions? Absolutely. But who still led him there? Who made the throws to lead him there?
And that's fair. That's when he had that big run.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't know.
He had to make some big throws. He had to make a couple of big throws to Kittle. He had to make one to Ayuk. And again, he had a big run.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, give me Brock for Super Bowl MVP.
I like it. And I also think it's interesting, right, that the Niners, they had that record under Kyle Shanahan, right? They were like, I don't know what it was, like 27, maybe 30 or something like that when they were down. Yeah, down by 8 or more at the half. And now they're 2 and whatever that was, right?
Yeah.
Both of those have come this playoff season. They're finding the right time to figure that out.
Absolutely.
And I guess if anybody's going to do it, it's the Niners.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now you have me questioning my pick.
Well, they're too talented to get blown out, and we all know that.
And that is true.
So.
That is true. The only time that I think they got manhandled was against the Bengals, if you remember that earlier this year.
Didn't they play that with like a banged up Christian McCaffrey though?
Yeah, and they also didn't have Trent. Trent Williams was out.
Trent was out that day.
Yeah.
And they were hurt on everywhere.
Yeah.
And I
think Debo was out as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he missed some time.
Yeah.
And that may be the only way to stop him.
Yeah. Please don't injure him.
No, no.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah, no.
Right. Because
we don't want that.
like we've talked about, I love the 49ers players. I just don't like the franchise. And like if a Trent Williams gets hurt, if a Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, that's just going to be sad.
Yeah, you don't want that. We don't ever want to see any guys hurt.
Right. I mean, it could be like the 5th string guy that gets hurt, and you just don't want to see it.
Nah, it's not fun.
It's hard to watch.
Absolutely.
I mean, however, Austin, you feel about the Cowboys, when Dak broke his leg, that was horrible.
Well, that was terrifying.
I was like, oh man, that was.
I'll never forget it. Seemed like it was yesterday too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where I was too.
That was gross.
I was at a Green Brigade band practice watching the game because I did not care. I did not care what was happening at that practice, and it was my mouth was just open.
I think we all were shocked. Yeah, because it was just like, man, and even the Cowboys were playing some of the worst defense of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We talking about historically bad.
Yeah.
But one of the bright spots was Dak.
Yeah, because I mean,
and the offense, he was slinging it.
Yeah.
Didn't he throw for almost 500 yards like the first game?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
And
Yes.
that was like the Falcons game when it was like a 46-42 game.
He was leading the league in passing yards and I believe touchdown passes too.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they lost week 1 against the Rams.
Okay, right.
The Falcons game was the second game.
Yeah. He was on pace for like 6,000 yards too.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball all over the field. And CeeDee Lamb, that was his rookie year. He would have gotten 1,000 yards. He finished with like 975.
Yeah. Could argue if they had figured it out, it may have been more, but
defensively they were not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, defense was awful.
But offensively, they just had what they were doing. Zeke led the league in fumbles that year. That was the year with Zeke.
Yeah.
He had fumbleitis that year.
I'll never forget it.
And Dak had a couple of fumbles that year too, because that's why the Atlanta game was and the Cleveland game following the Atlanta game. Those games got out of hand because both of them, they had back-to-back fumbles on drives. You talking about 14-14 game, next thing you know it's 28-14. And of course, Cleveland is running for 300 yards.
Yeah.
You can't stop that. So, yeah, those games got out of hand quick.
Right.
So, I think defensively, no, they would not have figured it out. But offensively, they could have.
Well, yeah, and then that's kind of what I was meaning, really, with CeeDee Lamb, right? If they had figured out, CeeDee Lamb is great, and obviously, he needed those extra years to kind of get really good, because I don't know if you remember last year when he was at first the bona fide receiver one, right? And he was dropping the ball a bunch of times.
He had a couple of bad drops to start the season.
Against the Giants, if you remember that.
Yeah, on the deep ball from Cooper Rush. Yep, sure did.
That was painful.
Yeah, that was a drop, and like you said, he started figuring it out. He ended up finishing with 1,300 yards. And then this year we saw what he did. He took an even bigger jump.
Yeah. I just... It's crazy to imagine what his ceiling could be.
Of all the number 88s now, I didn't get to see a prime Drew Pearson, but seeing a prime Michael Irvin, seeing, of course, a prime Dez Bryant and now Lamb. With Lamb is he's the most complete.
He is.
Now, Dez had the most talent of all of them.
Right.
But Lamb is the most complete. Michael was the best leader.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you talking the heart and soul of not just the Cowboy offense. He was the heart and soul of that entire Cowboy team back then.
Oh, yeah.
When he got hurt in Philadelphia, it was all downhill. Aikman wasn't the same quarterback. Emmett wasn't the same running back. The team wasn't the same at all. So from a leadership standpoint, Michael was the best leader, and I would say even until proven otherwise, the best player. Because again, the heart and soul, and Mike got 3 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can talk later about how Jason Garrett wasted Dez Bryant's talent, because that was horrible.
Yeah.
But
yeah, let's keep going, because
we could have a whole podcast about that.
Lord.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that. We'll be here all day.
Oh yeah,
and a couple of days after.
Oh man, we could reach next season and we'd still be talking about that.
Oh Lord.
Appalling. Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's keep going. So, moving on from the teams that are in the championship, there are 30 other teams that aren't, and there's a lot of things moving around. There's the coaching carousel. There is the player awards that are going to happen soon. But let's go to the coaching carousel, right? There's a lot that's happened that we haven't really covered, right? So I think the big one that I think affects most of us, not you, but affects most of us, right? Well, no, okay. Well, no, you'll be playing Washington.
Yeah,
but
you go. You just keep talking.
You'll be playing Washington, but Dan Quinn is head coach of the Commanders, right?
Right.
Is that a good fit?
I think it's a good fit. Now, here's my deal with Dan Quinn. Is he going to put an emphasis on stopping the run?
Right.
That is question number one. Because, look, he's got a great set of defensive tackles. Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne.
Oh, yeah.
They're great, and they're a great duo. So you have that in place already, which in Atlanta you had Grady Jarrett, but you didn't really have anybody else.
Right.
And here, Oso Digizua was getting better, but he's not elite.
Right.
Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne are better than anything you had in Atlanta and Dallas at the defensive tackle position. So is he going to continue to build around them and continue to put an emphasis on the run game, stopping the run?
Right.
Are you going to invest in your linebackers?
That's
Now,
the question.
we know they're going to get turnovers. His defenses in Atlanta and Dallas led the league in turnovers. I believe Atlanta as well. So I think it's a good fit. But it's a matter of also, how's Cliff Kingsbury going to work out at offensive coordinator?
Right.
Joe Witt Jr., we loved him here in Dallas. Is he ready to take that jump?
I mean, he's been there for so long, though, right? And I don't think he was going to get the chance in Dallas, because look at Dallas's history, right? They've been hiring head coaches to be their defensive coordinators, right? For the longest time now. It's been a long time since we've seen an unproven guy or a guy that really doesn't have much head coaching experience be a defensive coordinator there.
That is true.
And as much as we wanted Joe Witt Jr., I think it was better for him as a person, right? And as a coach to follow Dan Quinn because he has a guy in Emmanuel Forbes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a guy.
I like Emmanuel Forbes. There's a lot of similarities between him and Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's going to keep being a guy. Mm-hmm. You have Dan Quinn as your head coach. You have Joe Witt Jr. as your defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a guy. Now, can you get some guys around him? And that's the question.
What I will say for the Commanders, what I would have done personally, if I didn't get Mike Vrabel, I think I would have just kept Bieniemy and had him as my head coach. If I'm being honest, that's what I think I would have done. Mm-hmm. That being said, that's not what happened. So I don't know that Dan Campbell, I'm sorry. That's been on my mind. But
he's on everybody's minds a lot.
I know. I love that man. But I'm just not so sure that Dan Quinn is a fantastic head coach. Mm-hmm. And why I say that is because I know he has a Super Bowl appearance with Atlanta. That being said, you did blow a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, and your run defense has not been good in a lot of the places you've gone. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, personally, and it's not even that I dislike Dan Quinn. It's more of like I just like the other options that were available at the time. Mm-hmm. I like what you're saying about Witt Jr. too. Like I think the Commanders have a lot of potential. But the Cliff Kingsbury thing got me thinking because he was the offensive coordinator at USC.
Quarterback's coach.
Yeah, or quarterback's coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Caleb Williams was there. So now I've been seeing so many rumors of them trading up to the number 1 spot with Chicago, doing like a pick swap and then giving them like first round compensation like next year and the year after. Mm-hmm. And that has me a little intrigued.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily love it because I'm not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury.
Me neither.
As just in general, like I feel like his scheme is just too much of an air raid offense.
Yeah.
And I don't like that when you play in that division. I feel like you need to play more power football. And I feel like they don't, like outside of Terry McLaurin, there's a lot of unproven wide receivers. So I'm like, I don't know that I like the air raid system for that offense when you also have 2 good running backs. I don't know. I don't love what the Commanders have done, but I also don't hate it. Mm-hmm. But
And to be fair, when Dan Quinn's Atlanta Falcons blew that Super Bowl, let's get something understood. Mm-hmm. Quinn wasn't the one calling the run plays.
No,
fair.
Quinn was not the one that went away from the running game.
Fair.
Yep.
Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
Fair.
So we gotta be open and we gotta be fair about that.
That's fair.
And 2, again, he's got defensive tackles already in place.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
With Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. So I think the thing is that he has to continue to invest in that.
Yeah. That's fair.
And a veteran like him, you would think that he's looked back and he saw, okay, we couldn't stop the run in Dallas. Mm-hmm. I mean, we may have been good statistically.
Yeah.
But when it came to playing teams that ran the ball with power, when it came to playing San Francisco and Buffalo, Green Bay, with the season on the line,
Yeah.
my defenses got gashed.
Yep.
So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it is a good move. As far as offensively, now I know you pointed out Terry McLaurin, but with McLaurin, I mean, I think Dotson could be good on the other side of that.
He could be.
Now, is Curtis Samuel going to stay healthy?
Well, he also is a free agent too.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and then what's there? Luke Thomas, I don't even know, the tight end.
Logan Thomas.
Logan
Yeah,
Thomas.
they got Logan
Yeah.
Thomas. Yeah, they got
And-
Logan Thomas, the tight end.
And like he's good, but he's not more than like he's not great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I see the Commanders. I just see a whole lot of holes on their roster, and like just get some guys on their roster. Maybe I'll be more of a believer. I just also trading away Chase Young. Like you traded away a pretty solid guy. They traded Montez Sweat, so it's like they still have a lot of rebuilding to do. They need linebackers bad.
Yeah, they do.
We had the Pittsburgh Steelers picked up Cole Holcomb last year, and he was really good for us, but he was also really good for Washington.
Holcomb is a dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So.
he punked Zeke a couple of times.
Yeah.
And
He is a dog.
And Zeke Elliott don't get punked much.
Yeah.
We hardly ever saw that.
Yeah.
Cole Holcomb did it to him a couple of times,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Cole Holcomb.
Yeah. I love him on the Steelers defense when he's healthy.
Guy wears a
But-
mullet and everything.
Yeah.
So you know he's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I thought when Washington let him walk and he ended up in Pittsburgh, I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, and again, being an ex-linebacker, that position is dear to me. You know, I love watching linebackers play, and he's one of my favorites.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Even though he wore burgundy and gold, I love the guy.
Yeah.
He's a crash dummy. You're going to get 150% from him every
yeah.
time. And he loves to stop the run.
Absolutely.
He loves playing run defense. So, Washington definitely needs to invest in their linebackers.
I
Sure.
I just feel like there's so much they need to invest in, and honestly, I still don't get it. Vrabel's out there.
I
Why has no one picked him up? I feel like Washington would have been a great place for him to go. I mean, well,
Did
not
you
a great.
Did you see the dumb report
No, I didn't.
about why Vrabel wasn't getting hired?
What?
There's an article about him being too big and too in shape and being intimidated. I swear to God, I read it this morning.
Really?
That's dumb.
Now, if it was on one of them National Enquirer type sites,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then hey, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
But for the people out there watching this, there was an article about him being too intimidating. It's just like, ain't that what you want?
Yeah. Especially for a defensive-minded guy. No, bring him in.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a linebacker. He's an
Yeah.
ex-linebacker.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, that's Dan Campbell's whole thing.
Yeah.
He's big. He's scary.
He's bigger than Vrabel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, I think Vrabel, Pete Carroll, and Belichick, they're paying attention to what happens with McCarthy in Dallas. They're paying attention to what happens to Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because both teams, they have some talent there.
Absolutely.
Philadelphia especially.
Oh yeah.
Philadelphia's loaded.
Yeah, and
They
the thing
really
is
are.
with them is that I think they have a bigger window than what Dallas has because Dallas's window is closing. That just is what it is. The window's closing. We had it. We've blown it multiple times now, as everybody in the world has seen, and I know. But the thing is, right? McCarthy, he's on one more year, right? Final year of his contract. It's what they did with Garrett, but he's on his final year. It's going to be hard, I feel like, to lure in a defensive coordinator, right?
That's why I think it's going to be Mike Zimmer.
Yeah.
Zimmer is a guy who ex-head coach. He's coached in Dallas before. Zimmer is one who also thinks very, very highly of McCarthy.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember, but when McCarthy was fired in Green Bay, Zimmer said Green Bay made a mistake.
Yeah, he
And
did.
I want to say Zimmer was coaching in Minnesota at the time.
Yeah,
when
he
they did
was.
it.
They were coaching
Yeah.
against each other.
Yeah, he was coaching a rival.
Yeah.
So he thinks very, very highly of Mike. And little tidbit, check Zimmer's progress. Check his success rate against the Shanahan tree.
Ooh.
Because Dan Quinn struggled against the
Yeah.
Shanahan tree. And ironically,
true.
they were all on his staff in Atlanta when they went
Yeah.
to the bowl.
Yeah.
But check Zimmer's numbers against the Shanahan tree. It is outstanding.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet they bring in Zimmer. Zimmer's going to do what he has to do to retool this defense. Zimmer loves linebackers and
Yeah.
he loves defensive linemen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you got some guys on the back end. You got Trayvon Diggs locked up for a while.
Oh yeah.
He's not going anywhere, and you're going to get him back. You got a Deron Bland back
Yeah.
there. And your safeties are not bad. Malik Hooker is not bad.
Correct.
Donovan Wilson, he started to get going he started slow, but as the season went on, he started to get going.
Same with Jordan Lewis.
Yeah. Now, Jaron Curse, I'm okay with letting him walk. I'm okay with letting him walk.
He needs to be bagging Walmart bags.
I ain't gonna say you need to be bagging Walmart groceries, but I'm okay with letting him walk. So you got some guys on the back end that are okay. Dallas, you need to invest in linebacker because we talked about
Yeah.
Van Der Esch and he's done.
Yeah.
Your defensive tackle position, I think Odigizua is going to get better. Mozzie Smith, I don't know what's going to happen with him. His work ethic is not a problem.
Right.
Everything I've seen, he shows up and he works hard. He's just slow about getting off the ball. We will see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I think DeMarcus Lawrence, I think his contract is up or he's got 1 year left. So defensive tackle, linebacker. Because again, rushing the passer is a privilege.
Yeah.
For sure.
You got to earn that privilege by stopping the run 1st.
Yep.
And Zimmer's run defenses were pretty good.
Yeah.
So bring him in. I'm hoping that's who it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be who it is.
I'd put money on Zimmer.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm going to keep dying on this Vrabel train. If he's available, you go get him. I don't care. Even as a coordinator, because I'm just sitting there thinking, so if there's
Bad idea.
So if there's not any head coaching opportunities at this very moment,
Right.
because he's just looking for a job at this point, why not come to one of the biggest markets and be the defensive coordinator and then build up a head coaching stock backup
Right.
and then leave?
And what's even better for him is that if McCarthy does get fired, he's back out in the market next year
Yeah.
Who's to say you don't get hired here?
as the full-time. I kind of like that.
And you know, the cap difference for coaches is not the same.
Yeah.
As it is for players. So, because I mean, Dan Quinn was getting paid a head coach salary just to stay here. He could have been gone.
True.
Absolutely, yeah.
They were paying him head coach salary to stay here.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, bringing in Vrabel,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a bad move.
Yeah,
would
and
not
like
be.
I sit there and I'm just like, I just can't believe no one picked him up at head coach. And so I'm like, why? Like, if he's
Right.
gonna go to a defensive coordinator job, which he would, why not just go to the most high profile one, make the most money you can, improve your stock, and then go be a head coach somewhere else?
Hey, Riverboat Ron's also on the market. I want to put that one out there.
I like Vrabel better, but
I'm
yeah.
just saying that those are our three options.
Yeah.
I know that they're bringing in Zimmer and Ron Rivera.
Yeah.
And if you don't bring in Zimmer and you try to hire Vrabel, try to make a trade for Jeff Simmons.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. Stop. Well, here's the thing.
Hey, we speculating, okay? We're not experts. We're just speculating.
Hey. But here's the thing, right? Jerry said it's time to go all in. So, not...
Has he been saying that for 25 years
Even though
now?
he should have been doing that every year.
Well,
That's a
he
different
ain't-
story.
He ain't technically been saying it for 25 years.
Well, yeah.
But I think with Jerry, too, is that Jerry's realized he ain't got time left. The man's 82.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Jerry, if you really mean that, if you really, really mean that, do what you got to do. Invest in your linebackers. Invest in your defensive tackle position. Sign someone else on the offensive line because the offensive line ain't what it was between 2014 and 2016 either.
Yep.
Agreed.
You still got a hole or two there. And Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, one or the other. And then you draft a guy too, because I don't think they're going to double dip in free agency with the running back position.
Right.
They're going to sign one, draft another. That's what I believe. So,
Yeah. And I personally, I guess if you want to go down that rabbit hole a little bit, right? And I know, Austin, you're very excited to do mock drafts later.
Yes,
so,
I'm very excited.
yeah.
It's
So
gonna
we
be
will have a
awesome.
mock draft show, at least one.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, we're
for
doing
that.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
Austin
do
says
it.
we're doing 3.
Let's do it.
I'm okay with that because I think
One
that's gonna
one
be fun.
pre-combine, post-combine, and then final.
Love it.
That sounds like a good time. We'll also
I
have
already
other
made a
sports to
promise.
talk.
Well, I made the promise, so we have to do it now.
Okay. All right. Anyways, if you
Just
do want to
saying.
go down that rabbit hole, right? Derrick Henry, is that your top option there?
Really, my top option, if I'm the Cowboys, Derrick Henry is not a bad move because you need a physical running back. You
Right.
need somebody with some physicality in here. But if you can beat the Chargers to the punch in getting a Saquon Barkley, because Harbaugh likes him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh loves Saquon. He's a fan.
And I coached against him, too. He went to Penn State.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So if you can beat him to the punch and getting him and bringing him in from the rival, you do that because Saquon can help you in the passing game and in the running game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's very, very dynamic. You can line him up in the slot. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. So if now Henry Barkley does have a history with injuries.
True.
So there's that. But at the same time, if you can get him, you need to draft a guy too, because you don't want to give him consistently every week. You don't want to give him 20 to 25 carries.
Right.
True.
So you got to have somebody that can spell him.
Yeah.
It's got to be somebody good that can spell him. Is that Rico Dowdle?
I don't. It's hard because Rico Dowdle was good in being the change of pace back, but that's what we said about Tony Pollard, right? And then look at him being the number one; it just wasn't the same.
Nah, it was not the same. And that's been established that Tony
Yeah.
Pollard is not a number one back. So
Yeah.
even if Pollard is back, go get you someone that can provide a change of pace to him, or vice versa.
Right.
Now, that's when Henry wouldn't be bad. Or do you go after Austin Eckler?
That's another
I
question.
think about it. The only problem with him is that he's aging. I believe he's 30 now, I think. And he took a big step back. I don't know how much of that was coaching, to be fair, because Brandon Staley's an idiot. Like, I'm going to be completely honest. He's an idiot, and he just does not know how to coach offense. And Austin Eckler was not great. That being said, like, it's not a bad trade. Like, if you get Austin Eckler, like, I don't know. That'd be interesting.
But to be fair, Brandon Staley was not coaching the Chargers offense either.
Yeah.
Well, true.
You know who was?
That was your boy Kelly.
Kellen Moore,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
brand new Chiefs, or not Chiefs. Why did I say Chiefs? Brand new Eagles offensive coordinator.
Eh,
I don't. You know, maybe Kellen Moore proves me wrong and he grows up. I don't understand what Philly was doing there. Now, speaking of Brandon Staley, is he a candidate for a defensive coordinator job somewhere?
I mean, I don't know that I'd want him. I don't know that I want that stink.
Yeah, do you really want the team that dropped, the guy who let the Raiders drop 56,
63.
63?
I mean, I get what you're saying. I completely understand that. But being a coordinator is different from being a head coach too.
Agreed.
That's true.
But I just,
I mean, as we found out, Dan Quinn did a better job as defensive coordinator here
Yeah.
than he did as the head coach in Atlanta.
That is true.
true.
And Staley is a younger
Hopefully,
guy.
Arthur Smith, same way. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible
Yeah.
that it could be the same way with
Yeah.
Arthur Smith in Pittsburgh. That
Yeah.
is possible. So, I mean, and not just that, but you look at Wade Phillips. When Wade Phillips was a defensive coordinator, he was Wade Phillips might be one of the best defensive coordinators of all time.
Very true.
He just wasn't a great head coach.
Right.
So it could work out for Staley. And I want to say Staley was the Rams defensive coordinator when they won it all.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I know he's on the Rams staff at one point. I
knew that.
I didn't put the timeline together, but
Yeah, defense is his thing. And every time when he was there, the Rams had very good defenses.
with
Right.
amazing talent, to be fair.
He drafted defensive tackles, signed defensive tackles. Remember, there was a time where they had a Ndamukong Suh right next to Aaron Donald.
Oh,
They
yeah.
went to the bowl that year, too. They just ended up losing to New England. But
Yeah.
they held New England to 13 points in that bowl. You hold somebody to 13 points, you're supposed to win, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that ain't on the defense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Staley could be a hot name for a defensive coordinator job.
Yeah. This is just one of those that, like, my bias does get in the way. I can't lie. That one, I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just his play calling ability and his decision making in general that I
Right.
don't love.
But we got to be fair, too. It's the Chargers.
I know.
Yeah.
The Chargers have stunk as an organization.
That
man.
is
But they're
True.
so talented. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about with the organizational, the structural issues
Yeah.
with the organization.
Yeah.
They've stunk forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You wasted Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah.
Antonio Gates. Love that man.
They're currently wasting Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Keenan Allen even right
Yeah.
now.
Breeze was there.
That's true. He got drafted there.
I know that, but that's still crazy just to
Breeze.
think about.
They had Breeze and LaDainian Tomlinson at the same time.
Oh, my
Yep.
gosh.
Yep.
You know how ridiculous that
Yeah.
is?
So, I mean, the Chargers as an organization, yeah, they can draft talent, but the structural issues, they stink.
Yeah, you're swaying me. I think the Chargers may just be cursed. Maybe it's not all.
Well,
what I thought.
They just restructured their organization, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
They need to let Harbaugh do his job.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let Harbaugh do his job because Harbaugh can change your culture.
yeah.
You know, we saw the job that he did with San Francisco. He took San Francisco to three consecutive NFC championships?
Yeah.
And a Super Bowl.
And had him in the Super Bowl
Yep.
where he lost to his brother. So,
Yeah.
let the man do his job. Stay out of his way.
Yep.
Let him have some input. He ain't got to have all the input.
Right.
But he's got to have some. And again, stay out of his way.
Right.
Because you have some talent in place already. He's going to run the football, which is going to be good for Herbert. Implement a little play action. So yeah, I think what's going on with the Chargers, it's been culture.
For sure.
Yeah, it's been culture, but yeah, they as an organization, their culture stinks, and it's as bad as Dallas's culture has been. It's been worse over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
Because Dallas's culture stinks.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a weird culture? The Saints. They don't. I don't think anybody in that locker room likes Dennis Allen. Like, let's just put it out there.
And also, they're in salary cap hell.
Oh yeah.
So, like, between the coaching and the salary cap issues, I don't know what to do with them. Do whatever you want. I don't know.
I thought Dennis Allen should have been fired, but that was
Well, yeah.
that was
I
Oh, yeah.
thought he didn't get fired.
No, he's still there.
Yeah.
After their quarterback just changed the play.
Honestly?
Just their
James.
James
That was funny, by the way.
It was hilarious.
Just-
It was funny.
I mean, I'm also just sitting there thinking, I'm like, since they're so deep in the cap, it's like you almost have to, like, trade Derek Carr or do something with him, with his contract. You have to restructure everyone. And honestly, that might be more of a priority for him in the offseason rather than head coach because, like, they're screwed no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, why even waste time hiring a new one when they can't rebuild?
And
They're stuck.
And they got some guys on the defense that I love, Cam Jordan,
Yeah.
Demario Davis.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, it's one of those situations too where they all could be gone in a couple of years because
Right.
like they're all like in their 30s. I feel like, or not Demario Davis. I don't remember.
Yeah, Demario's up there.
He is.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's been around a while. Him and Cam Jordan, they've
Okay.
been around a while.
I knew Cam Jordan was like 33, 34, something like
Right.
that. But Demario Davis, I was like, oh, I don't know if he's like 30.
I want to say he's 30 or 31.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side of the ball as well, Alvin Kamara. He's pretty old, isn't he?
He's
Nah,
like
Kamara.
27, 28.
Okay.
I think he's been around for
about,
5 or 6
He's
years.
about 27, 28.
Yeah.
I want to say he came in the league 2017, man.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Now get rid of Michael Thomas though. Just in general, I don't care how old he is. Just get rid of him. He's not on the field.
Mike, yeah, he's got to be healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and when he is healthy,
He's fighting
very
teammates.
dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fighting teammates, you know.
yeah, he may beat up one of his teammates a time or two here and there, but that's passion. The man wants to win.
Yeah.
The man wants to win.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Irvin stabbed a teammate. for
It's
God's
true.
sake.
It's true.
That's right.
Yeah. And nobody said a word because Mike wanted to win. Be that as it may, it wasn't even on the field.
I think that says more about the 90s than anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was
Than
the
the
time.
80s or 90s.
Hey man, what a time to be alive. Y'all missed out.
We did.
Y'all missed out.
Nobody's
See,
stabbing anybody anymore.
Yeah. Nobody's stabbing anymore over wins, over haircuts, or whatever it was. I mean, may have been both, right, Mike? That ain't none of my business, but I think the statute of limitations, you good.
Yeah.
It ain't like. Sorry about that, Mike. I love you. I really do.
I think we all do in some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. But like,
Yeah.
I do want to kind of move in to Arthur Smith, right?
Oh, I do too.
I just Austin, I'm gonna let you just talk about that.
Okay. Well, so my first reaction was to just scream at the TV. I was mad at first. I've warmed up to it a little bit. The reason why I was so mad at the beginning was because he did not use generational talents. He did not use Pitts. He did not use I shouldn't say London's generational, but he didn't use them to the full extent that he could have. Didn't use Bijan. He didn't use a whole lot of his guys that he had that were really good on offense. And that's why I was like, okay, the Steelers already have a problem with that. We already don't use George Pickens. We already don't use Jalen Warren enough. We already don't target Deontay Johnson enough.
Right.
We don't use our weapons the way we should. So why would we bring in a guy who is known for not using his weapons when that's a problem for us? That was my initial reaction. And then I kind of sat back and I thought, like, okay, in Tennessee, he was really good.
Right.
Derrick Henry, granted, Derrick Henry was in his prime. They were the number 1 offense at one point. They were the number 2 offense at one point. They made it to an AFC championship and gave the Chiefs a run for their money. And right now, I'm looking at our roster. We have Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, who are both really, really good football players, and they're really good at running back. And our offensive line is not as bad as people think it is. That being said, we do need to still improve it. So I think with an improved roster, an improved quarterback situation, hopefully that he can actually elevate our offense a little bit. The biggest thing that I just hated about it, to be fair, and I think this is completely fair, we had Gerard Johnson in our locker room. He coached CJ Stroud this year to the best rookie year we've ever seen from a quarterback. And we passed on that.
Yeah.
That's what upset me more than honestly the hiring itself, because that, like, I don't know if Kenny's the answer or not. I don't. But he has not been given a fair chance. Matt Canada sucked.
Yeah.
Terrible. And even if we fired him in the middle of the season, that scheme does not automatically change overnight. The only thing that changes is the sequence of which we call those plays. You cannot change it on a short week, no less.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not going to happen. So I think it's a better option than Matt Canada, but it's not as good as what we could have had, and that's where I'm like not happy about it. But at the same time, Arthur Smith does have head coaching experience, and not that the Falcons were all that impressive, but they were still second in their division, so I'm like, that counts for something at least, and they were in contention with Desmond Ridder, who's not good.
Right.
So there's things that get me like cautiously optimistic, but there's also a lot of things where I'm like, okay, like we already have these problems. We don't use our guys that we have that are really good, and we're bringing in someone that's known for it. That's the thing that scares me most. And I think that's pretty fair on both sides, because I do think there is reason to believe that he could be really good. There's also reason to believe that he could be terrible.
Right.
So,
and you don't know what the drop off is between, that offensive coordinator experience that he had in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Between him, kind of being tied up doing head coaching duties, and now coming back as an offensive coordinator.
The one thing that I can say is at the very least, I can count on it being an improvement over Matt Canada.
Yes.
That's
rock bottom.
Good. That's rock bottom, but that's good. So at least I can say that.
I do think it's funny, though. The Raiders did interview Matt Canada.
And Luke Getsy from the Bears. They hired Luke Getsy.
And that's shameful.
Luke Getsy is awful.
He is.
Dude, he's like a 12-year-old calling Madden plays on rookie mode and just saying, hey, I put up 100 points one time. Cool. Everyone should.
That's tough.
Like, I'm just saying, that's what Luke Getsy is like. And that's the same with Matt Canada. The fact that the Raiders interviewed both of them shows how bad of an organization that is right now. Just saying.
They are very cooked, in my opinion.
Anyways, Arthur Smith. That's my take.
Well, I will say this with Arthur Smith, and I'm on the fence about it too, is that he's taking a step back and he's just strictly an offensive coordinator instead of head coach and offensive coordinator. So my question is he going to roll with Mason Rudolph?
I don't love it, but our options, it's like a 1A, 2A, 2B type thing.
Yeah.
I feel like both of them, as of now, I would call both of them backups. Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. Mitch Trubisky, third. Get him out of here. I don't care. At that point, he's literally dead money. So get rid of him for sure. So it's between Kenny and Mason. I would say Kenny for the upside, start him. Mason, if you're just looking for success right now, Mason.
Yeah.
But Kenny, I think long term, just to see, just to get a more clear defined answer, because that's the thing. If we're not scheming guys open, and we're not getting guys on the move, then you can't really run a successful offense. You're not getting the yak out of these guys. And George Pickens, he took a slant one time for 86 yards and a touchdown.
Ridiculous.
So get them on the move. That's the biggest thing that was holding them back. I'm just ranting. I'm sorry, but y'all.
No, this
But-
is profound.
Yeah,
We listen.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But like
absolutely.
Matt Canada, there was so many mirrored concepts on offense. Just curl route on the left, curl route on the right, and then you have a seam going up the middle. That was his base offense. That was his base call, and I'm not kidding.
Sound like Kellen Moore.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, it does.
it was. It was exactly like it. And the only thing is, like, we didn't have a quarterback like Dak Prescott, so we couldn't get away with it. And same with Justin Herbert. So, like, we have Kenny Pickett. He's, like, let's call it what it is. Kenny Pickett is not that yet, and I don't know that he's going to be. That being said, we have to at least give him the opportunity and get those guys on the move, get some play action involved, get the crossers involved. Because Deontay Johnson's not bad when he catches the ball.
No, he's not.
Like, he's actually a wide receiver 1 when he catches the ball. And George Pickens is so amazing. So, I don't know. I feel like Arthur Smith can do it, but I'm really scared.
Well, we got a lot of talking done today, right?
Yeah.
We did.
Now, obviously, we are not experts, but
Well. Don't sell me short.
Austin thinks he's an expert. I don't agree with that. Anyways, we'll come back to this more next week. We will, and we'll talk all these things. We'll be talking about the Super Bowl. We'll even reveal what we're doing next. But that's next week. We want to thank you so much for joining this week. We missed you last week. Hopefully, we'll see you more soon. It's been Tyler. It's been Matthew. It's been Austin. And we'll see you next week.